I think continuing from maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. We have what is called istinja. Okay? Istinja. From istinja, you have three root letters, which is najis. Najis. From najis, you have the word najasa. Istinja is purification after relieving oneself. Najis and najasa, filth. Filth, whatnot. Najis and najasa, impurity. Okay. From najasa, you have two types. Assalamu alaikum. Yes? I don't. Yeah. Probably at Isha. Yeah. Okay, inshallah. Okay. Okay. Najasa is of two types. Okay. Najasa is of two types. One is called ghalidha, and one is called khafifa. Ghalidha means heavy, khafifa means light. Ghalidha and khafifa, light and heavy. So, actually, let me get a paper towel. Okay. You managed to clean this, huh? You cleaned it?
No, somebody did. I don't know.
Oh.
Alhamdulillah. But because I mentioned that we need to get this cleaned. So they cleaned it, yeah.
Najasa is of two types. Haqiqi and hukmi. Haqiqi means it can be seen. It can. The najasa can be seen. Hukmi means it cannot be seen. How do you have a najasa that cannot be seen? For example, you break wudu. So now you're not in the state of wudu. But could you see he's not in the state of wudu? No. So it's called najasa hukmi. I'll just write not seen. Now right? Seen. Okay. From najasa haqiqi, you have two types. The two I mentioned before. Which was? Ghalidha
and khafifa.
Ghalidha meaning heavy, khafifa meaning light. Okay. You need some examples? Yeah. An example of najasat haqiqi, for example, wine, urine, stool can all be seen. An example of ghalidha, again you could use the same, urine, stool. An example of khafifa, light najasa, is, for example, you have the droppings of halal animals or haram birds. So for example, bird flies overhead and their feces would be considered khafifa. The reason why it makes a difference is the purification process for all of these are different. That's why you have to know what is what. Okay. From najasat, all of these, both of these, najasat haqiqi, it's cleaned by washing it 3 times. Najasat ghalidha and khafifa. Haqiqi is cleaned by washing it 3 times. Like if you have a garment or something, you wash it 3 times. Okay.
So when you say 3 times, if you throw it in a washer, would it be same thing?
If you throw it in the washer, most cycles, I think they go 7 times. They have like a 7-cycle washer.
So.
Or like they have multiple wash and put on the extra wash and rinse. It gives you another cycle. Okay. You got all of this, so I'm going to erase this. Yeah?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I did not skip this class, but I don't remember any of these.
Oh no, we're doing this for the first time.
Yeah, because I don't know what they mean.
Oh, you don't know what they mean, huh?
Yeah.
Istinja is the process that you have after you relieve yourself in the bathroom. That's istinja.
Okay.
From istinja, you see you had, from istinja, you also, not from istinja, but you could say, you have this word, it's najis, okay? Najis means something that's impure. You have najasa that also came from najis, something impure. You're relieving istinja is that you're purifying yourself. You're purifying yourself from what? You're purifying yourself from najasa, impure things. Now najasa is of all these types.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then, did you want me to write the examples?
I wrote 3.
Okay. Which one did you not get?
Wrote 6, 1, 9.
For example, ghalida would be wine, and khafifa would be the droppings of halal animals or haram birds.
Okay.
Okay.
Or it could be if somebody's urinating, standing, and all the droppings are on their
Clothes.
Clothes.
That's going to be ghalida.
oh, so it's going to be ghalidha, okay.
Yeah. That's what, urine too. Ghalida. Wine, all of those things ghalida. Heavy things that are.
Everything.
Yeah. Now let's go to istinja. That which you mentioned, that example that you just gave, is part of istinja.
Okay.
When the Prophet ﷺ went for Isra wal Mi'raj, there was a group of people that there was many different things that he was seeing. The Prophet ﷺ, when he went, he saw a group of people that they were being punished with this nail and whatnot. The Prophet ﷺ asked Jibreel, what is happening to these people? And Jibreel ﷺ said, they were people who, when they went to go make istinja, they were not careful and they got urine on their clothes. Very, it seems small, but it's very, very important. Istinja, very, very important. Okay. When the Prophet ﷺ came with the ruling for istinja, the Jews at the time, they said, oh, what is your Prophet teaching you? Now he's teaching you how to use the bathroom. It's very ajib, strange thing. And the Sahaba said, yeah, he's teaching us everything. He's not leaving anything untaught. He's teaching us everything. Istinja. So it's going to be the istinja, process of relieving yourself or cleaning yourself after using the bathroom. Most of the rulings pertaining to istinja, they're going to be a little bit different because you're going back to a time when they did not have access to toilet paper and water like we have now. So majority of the things they would be using was paper, clay, bones, whatnot. Okay, so there's most of the rulings are pertaining to what you can use. Okay, however, ideally when you're making istinja nowadays, you're going to use water and toilet paper, which is fine. So you don't really have to go through all of those things. But number one is obviously for a man not to be standing, because then the urine will get on his clothes. The urine will, it's not 100% haram, but to stand. It is 100% haram if the urine got on his clothes. That is 100% haram. But if he's able to stand without it getting, that's a little bit different. And it shouldn't be in a place where there's no privacy and whatnot. Example, it's pretty basic stuff. Okay, istinja. I'll just leave it at that. From najasat hukmi, and hukmi was huh? Cannot be seen.
Cannot be seen. Okay.
You're gonna have three. You're gonna have one, wudu. You're gonna have two, ghusl. Three, tayammum. Tayammum. Okay? The three that you're gonna have to purify yourself from najasat hukmi, things that cannot be seen.
What's the last one?
This is called tayammum. Okay. There is a term when it comes to wudu, it's called nawaqid. Okay? It's called nawaqid. This means all of the things that break these. Nawaqid means all of the things that break these three. So you have nawaqid of wudu, nawaqid of ghusl, nawaqid of tayammum, all the things that break them. Okay?
For example, so those are the things you must do.
No, the things that if this happens, one of these three is broken. For example, you have tayammum, okay? You're in the state of tayammum. A breaker of tayammum is that now you found water. But we'll get there. But it's just a term to say what breaks it. For example, a nawaqid of wudu is a person who uses the bathroom. Now his wudu is broken. So things that break, we'll say breakers. Breakers? Nawaqid. Okay. Okay. Let's go over here.
Breakers or invalidators.
Yeah, things that make it invalid, they break it. Now you have wudu and ghusl, okay? They are permissible with any of the following. If you have waters of many different types, so you have these different types of waters. You have rainwater, well water, obviously. Any of the following 5 waters, wudu and ghusl is permissible with. Okay, so if it's permissible with these waters, there has to be water that it's impermissible to use it with. Okay, these 5 it's permissible with. These 5 it's not permissible with. Number 1, any water that has impurity in it, najis water. Number 1. Number 2, any water that was if the water was extracted from trees, then it had, or fruits, like a fruit tree, that is impermissible to make wudu with. Number three is very important. Water that the color water which the color, taste, or smell has changed. Color, taste, or smell has changed, or something has fallen into it and made the water thicken. That water is impermissible. Color, taste, or smell. So for
Any
example,
one of those.
any of those. As soon as one of those has happened, it's not water. Now the question is, what about pool water? Because pool water, the taste and smell has both changed. Both taste and smell has both changed. With pool water, it's fine. But why with pool water? Usually what happens is, or even the ocean. You're in the ocean has so much salt water. Can you not make wudu in the ocean? Of course you can make wudu in the ocean. Okay? But we'll get to why you can't. You see this najis water up here? Najis water? Najis water can be of two types. Number one is that it fell into a big body, and number two, it fell into a little body. What do I mean by that? You had a guy who was standing at the Gulf of Mexico. He's standing in a big pond. He's standing at the ocean, and he urinates in the water. Okay. Now he's standing in, and he's standing here. He urinates. A guy is making wudu on this side. Do you think his urine is going to affect this guy? This guy is in America. This guy's in Africa, on one side of the ocean.
Should not.
It's not going to affect him. This guy is in a small, you could say, what are those? Jacuzzi. He urinates in a jacuzzi.
Or
The
swimming
guy-
pool.
Swimming pool? We have to get there. This guy is in a jacuzzi. He urinates in the jacuzzi, and the other guy is making wudu on the other side. Do you think it's going to affect his wudu? 100%. So these are not the same. So when we say najis water, big and little, depending on the size of the water, we measure it 10 by 10. If it's 10 by 10, we consider that to be big. 10 by 10, it's big enough.
10 feet by 10 feet.
10 feet by 10 feet. Then, if anybody has urinated on that side, then we don't consider it to affect that guy on that guy's side. 10 feet by 10 feet. Make sense?
10 by 10, is that with which measure? By inches?
No. 10 feet by 10 feet.
10 feet.
Okay.
10 feet long and 10 feet wide.
10, yeah, length and
Right.
the next one is used water. If somebody has already used water for wudu and ghusl, you cannot use that water. But now here's a very interesting part. You can't use that water, but it is tahir. The water in itself is pure. The water is not najis, because the guy used it to make wudu. So why can't you use it to make wudu? It is tahir, but there's another word called mutahhir. Tahir means it's pure. Mutahhir means it can make something else pure. And it can't. Use water for wudu and ghusl. In within itself is pure. It's not najis. Why would it be najis? All he did was use it to wash his skin. His skin didn't have any najas on it. Maybe for ghusl, yeah. For wudu, it didn't. But it's not mutahhir. Mutahhir means it cannot make something else pure. It cannot make. And how did they get here? Why do you think this is a ruling? That the water itself is tahir, which means a person, if he got wudu water, you made wudu with some water, and that water fell on my clothes, I can still pray in it. It's not najis, it's tahir. But if I was to make wudu with that water, I can't. Why? Because when a person makes wudu, this is what the fuqaha wrote. When a person makes wudu, the Prophet ﷺ said a person makes wudu, and which each limb, his sins begin to fall off. So they say when the person has made wudu, now his sins have fallen into the water, now his water does not have the ability to make something else pure. It has already become najis. Not najis, but impure by way of that guy's sins. Mutahhir. You have water which has been left over by a haram animal that was drinking. For example, a lion came to the pond, was drinking the water. That made the water now impermissible to use.
Tahur.
Huh?
Tahur.
Not the opposite of
Tahur.
najis.
Najis.
It's the opposite of water. Leftover water. And another one is a cat technically is not a haram animal. I'm not talking about eating, I'm talking about in najas or not. But if a cat has just ate, like a mouse or something, and then they use the water, it also makes the water haram, leftover water. Similarly, leftover water of a person who has just ate something haram. He has just drank wine, and then he also drank from the water, that made the water najis. Okay, all of those things. Can I erase this? Yes? Yes?
So tahir is clean, but mutahhir is the one, its ability to cleanse
Yeah, something else.
something else,
Yeah.
which is not present in those situations.
Yeah. No, some of these were not even tahir. Most of these were najis.
Mm.
The only one that's still considered tahir is used water from one who made wudu. That's the only one that is still tahir, but not mutahhir.
Sheikh, is this ahkam on drinking it or
No, we are
making wudu?
in wudu. That is in wudu. Now you have another term which is called hadath. Hadath. Hadath means this guy is in the state of impurity. Hadath is of two types.
Asghar and akbar.
Hadathi asghar, hadathi akbar. Hadathi asghar means this guy's gonna need wudu. Hadathi akbar means this guy's gonna need
Shower.
ghusl. Okay.
Excuse me, I broke my pencil. Does anybody have an extra pen, pencil thing?
Let's get one from the office.
We should have one in the office. You will find.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go.
Okay. When it comes to let's go straight into this now.
That's what,
Okay. Farad, now we're wudu, okay? Wait. You have farad. Farad is
mandatory.
mandatory. You have 4 things.
Surah Maida, right?
Say it again?
It's in Surah Maida, right?
Yeah, it's right there. Farad, you have 4 things. At least one time. Face, arms from tip of the finger past the elbow, head, masa of 1/4, feet up to the ankles. You have 4. You have sunnahs. The plural of sunnah is called sunan. Sunan, you have 13 sunan. Okay. Number 1. Sunnahs of wudu, number one, to have niyyah. Okay, this is an interesting one. To have intention. Okay. Number two, to say Bismillah. Number three, wash the hands. Number five, use the miswak. Number four, you gargle. Then you do your nose, khilal, both the beard and the hands and toes. To wipe the head. What is the difference between this one and this one?
That was only 1/4, this is the
Yeah.
whole head, right?
This was only 1/4 and this was the whole head. To do each of them 3 times. Over here it was just to do it once. 1, 1, 1. Over here it's to do each 3 times except the head. Head you do once, but the rest to do 3 times. Number, to do it in its sequence, in its order. Tartib. And number 13, to do it without having any pause. Any pause. So one limb didn't dry up and then you wash the next one. Everything is in its sequence. This is an interesting one because most people put niyyah with farad. The only people who didn't put niyyah with the farad was us. By us, I mean the Ahnaf. We are the only people who said niyyah is not part of farad. We got there in a very interesting way. It might be a little bit too deep, but let's just do it anyway. You got this? Everyone got this?
Sheikh, madna and istinjaq, the nose and the mouth, I thought it was part of the face.
No. If you just wash the face and you didn't do madmum and istinshaq, your wudu counts, not your ghusl. The farad of ghusl is madmum and istinshaq. The farad of wudu is not. That's a sunnah. It's a little bit different. But did everyone get this? Okay. Let me explain to you how we got there, even though it's a little bit way too complicated, but let's see if everyone gets it. You have a hadith. What does this mean?
Every action is based on its intention.
Okay, say it again one more time, very slowly.
Every action is based on its intention.
Okay, every action is
Based
on
its
intention.
intention.
Over here we had the word every. Over here we had the word
Action.
Action,
Over here we had the word
intention.
intent. Where's the word based? There is no word based. In Arabic over here, this ba. Okay? This ba is what we call a harfi jar. It's a harfi jar. It means, in English, what do they call it? I don't know what they call it in English. It's called a harfi jar. For example, you have the word fi, okay? Fil masjid. In the masjid. It's going to change the next word into with the kasra. Fil masjid. In the masjid. Okay? It's called a harfi jar. When you have something like this in Arabic, Arabic has what they call i'rab. It means how is the sentence being formed. Okay? Sentence being formed. When you have something like this, it has to go back to something else that's hidden in the sentence. It's absent in the sentence. So for example, if I was to say, okay, this is fi, right? If I was to say Muhammad in the masjid, We say both of these, they go back to a word that's not there, which is mawjood. Muhammad is present in the masjid. It's present. But the word present is not there in the sentence. Okay? It's
So
not
we
there.
know that it's.
But we understood, oh, he means he's present in the masjid. Or you say something like, every word that has a harf jar. For example, B is also one, ala. So you say, the book is on the desk. The book is on the desk. The book is on the desk. But they're gonna write, ala. The book is placed on the desk. Okay? Or whatever you find. So everything has to go back to something like this. This is how Arabic works. Okay? This is a harfi jar. So now we said these two words, they need to go back to something. What do they go back to? So he said they go back to the word based.
Yeah.
They go back to the word based. So everyone else said, what does it relate back to? It relates back to the word yuslahu. Yuslahu means for something to be correct. Actions are only, first of all, innama does not mean every, it means only. Actions are only correct with intention. So they said, oh, you want your wudu to be correct, you have to have intention. You want your ghusl to be correct, you have to have intention. Imam Abu Hanifa, he said, no. Ajr. You want your wudu to have reward, you have to have intention. But he doesn't need to be correct. Because the maqsad, the objective of wudu, is that you have purity. If a person jumps in a pool of water, how are you going to say he doesn't have purity? He has to have purity. But we're going to say he didn't have ajr. Just because he jumped in a pool of water, he didn't get reward for it. But he walked out with wudu. But if he wants his wudu to have ajr, then he has to make intention. That's how they got there. Well, if you didn't get it, it's fine. It's not bad.
That makes sense.
That's the difference. That's why some people.
But there's a, that's not the complete hadith though, this half of it.
The rest of the hadith is just an explanation of this.
Oh.
This is the main point. That's an example of the rest of it. Okay. There is what we have, what's called mustahab. Mustahab was?
Sunnah?
No. We just did sunnah. Mustahab? Mustahab? Huh? Huh?
I'm guessing.
I don't even know what word you said. Mustahab, we did mustahab day one.
Yeah. So,
Mustahab, mubah,
Recommended.
Yeah. Recommended. Mustahab, recommended. Recommended acts.
if you're going deep, you're separating sunnah.
yeah.
No, this is a separation anyway. Because sunnah means the Prophet did it. Mustahab means it's just recommended.
So like opposite of makruh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. These are the mustahabbat of wudu. That you start with the right, that you don't take assistance, that you face the qibla, and that you sit on a high place. We call these recommended acts of wudu.
But recommended by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Recommended by the Prophet ﷺ, how we saw him do it, or how we saw the previous predecessors do it, etc. Yeah.
But not necessary.
No, just very recommended. Not after sunnah. It's not that important. If your water tap doesn't face qibla, you're not gonna purposely be like, hey, let's change the tap to face qibla. But to start with the right, why wouldn't you? And that's a sunnah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have 4 makruhs of wudu. Makruh means?
Disliked.
Yeah. The makruhat of wudu is that a person, he makes wudu in a dirty place. He uses his right hand when he's cleaning his nose. He's supposed to use the left, but he uses it. As he's making wudu, he's having some discussion, worldly discussion. And number 4, when he's making wudu, he's doing it in a manner which is against the sunnah. Not against the sunnah ignorantly, against the sunnah knowingly. It's intended. Make sense?
Like he thinks it's not necessary.
Yeah. He's purposely doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I said that there's a term called.
So Sheikh, just on that, if somebody leaves, like, you know, just does the fard amal, right? Would that be makruh? Just to the you know, face.
It depends.
Would that be considered makruh?
If he had it depends on the situation. He has 5 minutes left for Maghrib and he needs wudu. Make the fella that pay. He's making wudu like that every day of his life, makruh. And if you do makruh over and over, it comes up wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how he makes wudu. Oh, right, and then he's getting sick.
Then that's wrong.
If it's every now and then it just happened, okay, we let it go. You need it.
Necessary.
Yeah. I said nawaqid is nawaqid.
Oh,
Things that make
okay.
wudu, nawaqid.
Naqs.
No, with Allah.
Oh.
No, nawaqid. There are 8 nawaqid of wudu. Number 1 would be, I'll just say bathroom.
Blood.
There's a lot of discussion about that. Say Sheikh Sadillah on that.
Like, which amount? How much? Little bit or
Ikhtilaf on that.
So you go to the bathroom, it's going to break wudu. Number 2, you pass gas, it's going to break wudu. Number 3, you vomit, and the amount that you vomited was more than a mouthful, it's going to break wudu. Number 4, you fall asleep. Fall asleep, it depends how you fell asleep. In Arabic, you have this one thing, it's called istirkha al-mufassir. It means the guy fell asleep in such a way where his body, he's still supporting his own body. His limbs haven't gone relaxed. He fell asleep and he still has control of his body. He still has control of his body. So there's no way he would have passed gas in this state. He didn't, he was sitting upright. There's ways that he's sitting. He's not propped up on anything. He just fell asleep. This is called istirkha al-mufassir. He still has wudu. Number 5, the guy faints out of dizziness or unconsciousness or whatnot, craziness, he faints. Number 3, this one, blood or matter. Blood, matter meaning pus or whatnot. Anything that comes out of the body, pus. And this one, to laugh in salah. A person laughs in salah, breaks his salah and breaks his wudu. The reason why he said this blood is a interesting one is because some of the other scholars have said that blood does not break the wudu. For they have evidences, we have evidences. Depends. They have their own evidences, we have our own ahnaf, have their own ahadith.
No, the Hanaf madhab, it breaks, right?
It breaks.
It doesn't matter like on
Yeah,
on
but when it comes to blood with ahnaf, how it breaks the wudu is okay.
I'll struggle with that.
if it drains, then
If you have a cut, okay? Now, oh shucks, you have a cut. Now you see the blood is there. Your wudu did not break. Once the wound has become that the blood has come out of the wound, now your wudu has broken. There is blood that stays in the wound, and then there is blood that comes out of the wound. When the blood that comes out of the wound, we see now your wudu has broken.
Like with the paper towel or something?
Yeah, you took out the blood. Or the blood was here, this is where the cut is, and now the blood flowed here. Now your wudu is broken. But so long as the blood had stayed in the wound, then the blood did not thing. A lot of hadith that they use, the other madahib, this is the reason why we don't accept it. For example, the guy got shot, he continued praying. If the arrow was stuck in, there's no blood flowing. The arrow is stuck. It's preventing the blood. There's no blood flowing. So his wudu is still intact.
I see what you mean.
So this is what we say, breaks through. And matter meaning, plus. Basically the way it works for the ahnaf is anything that comes out from the body is going to break your wudu. Okay? The reason why we have laughing in salah, which is a very interesting one, is because one day there was a hadith, one day there was a companion who laughed in salah, and the Prophet ﷺ said, go and make your wudu. We don't know why he said, go and make your wudu. He just said, go and make your wudu. So everyone says that the Prophet ﷺ said, go and make your wudu. He must have had some reason, so go and make your wudu. That's it. Here's a question. You are sitting, and you have a baby on your lap. You have a baby on your lap. The time for Dhuhr comes in. You go and you pray Dhuhr. After you finish praying Dhuhr, you notice that you have urine on your pants. Okay. Do you have to remake wudu?
Remake wudu?
Yeah.
No, the clothes will be just najasa.
Yeah.
Najasa, right?
He doesn't have to make wudu, but his clothes have become impure. So he had to repeat the salah because his clothes is impure. But he still has wudu because it was the baby's urine, not him. Make sense?
What about if the wetness got his skin as well and all that?
And he has to wash that part of his body. And then, yeah,
Okay.
that's different.
Sheikh, is it the same, this nawa, is it the same for male and female?
Yes.
Is there any separation?
There is obviously females have some other limitations, but they were gonna be able to put it together.
So for the gas part, if someone thinks that maybe that's just the feeling of the gas, but I really didn't pass any gas,
There's a hadith on that, right?
he's not 100% sure, then at that point, what person should do?
So there was a hadith, the person who came with the Prophet, that hadith he had what we call waswasa, which means he thought he was always passing gas. So the Prophet said, only if you smell it, then you passed it. But for majority of people, they're able to tell. Even if they don't smell it, they can feel it. If you are, okay, this is how it works. A guy makes wudu. He made wudu. Now he has what we call yaqeen. This is kind of an important principle because it works in every situation. In salah, everything. This is a principle, a fiqh principle. You made wudu. Now this means 100% sure, by the way. The guy is 100% sure he has wudu, right? 100% sure. Now, he has two things. He passed gas, and he smelled it. Is he 100% sure he passed gas? Yeah. So his yaqeen of wudu has now been broken by 100% yaqeen he doesn't have wudu. A guy passed gas, or he thinks he did, but he didn't smell anything, and he also didn't really feel it. Okay, he doesn't smell anything, and he also doesn't really feel it. Huh? Now he's of two types. Number one, he has shak. Shak means he's at
Possibility.
no. It means he's at 49%. 49% or less. Or he has what we call Ghalabatul Dhan. Ghalabatul Dhan means he's at 51%. Okay? He had yaqeen, he had 100% wudu. He's at shak. Did I pass gas? Did I not? If he's at 49%, he still has wudu. If he's at shak, he still has wudu. If he's at ghalabatul dhan, he's 51% sure, I passed gas. Then he doesn't have wudu anymore. So yaqeen cannot be removed by shak. You cannot have 100% removed by 49%. But you can have 100% removed by 51%. Does that make sense?
The 51
Zan.
that one.
The one, yeah.
That would be like, I did pass it, but maybe I didn't,
It would be, I'm pretty sure I passed gas. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure.
That's it.
An example of this that comes very often is in Salah. How does it come in Salah? The guy gets up and he says, am I on rakat number 3 or 4? Am I on rakat number 3 or 4? I don't know if I'm on rakat number 3 or 4. And he's thinking. And he's like, I'm pretty sure I'm on 4. I'm pretty sure I'm on 4. Then he's on 4. But let's say he had shak. He's like, did I pray 3 or 4? Did I pray 3 or 4? Did I pray 3 or 4? But he has yaqeen, I prayed 3. Because obviously 4 comes after 3. He has yaqeen. Then he has to pray 4. Because his yaqeen cannot be removed by his shak. But if he's at 51%, he's like, man, I think I already prayed 4, then he's good. It works in so many different ways. This principle right here, it works in 100 different ways. It works in wudu too. If a person, not just gas, a person has wudu, and maybe he used the bathroom. He might have used the bathroom, but he doesn't remember. And he's thinking to himself, did I use the bathroom? Did I not? Did I use the bathroom? Did I not? Did I use the bathroom? If he's at 49%, he didn't use the bathroom. The minute he gets to 51%, then he's used the bathroom. Everyone understood this?
Yeah.
So that answers your question. However, if a person is over here many times, this is from the shaitan. A specific shaitan, his job is, he just puts the shak. Oh, you pass gas, you pass gas, you pass gas. If he's at this, then this doesn't break his wudu, only this will break his wudu. If he's at shak multiple times, it's happening to him a lot, then he only breaks wudu once he gets to 100%. At that time, ghalabatul dhan cancels out. Because he doesn't have ghalabatul dhan because his brain is all fizzled. So he's only breaks it at 100% yaqeen. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Should we leave it up to there? I think so, inshallah. Any questions?